Yo, peace and love, family. Peace and love, peace and love. It's your boy Sunrise the Divine. I'm back at you again with some love and light. Be careful on your tiptoes, okay?
Yep.
What up, y'all? I'm back at y'all. Focused, undivided attention back on y'all as regularly. First off, I want to shout out to everybody in the community. Thank you guys for being so great. We had Zen and Kush Pyramids, the 3-year anniversary of Zen and Kush last night. It was amazing. It was very powerful. So much family, so much growth, so much love and inspiration. So first off, just to let y'all know how I'm vibrating, I just had a magical night. Whew. Now the topic of this video is gonna be something I spoke on before, but we're gonna keep reiterating it because we gotta do that. We gotta circle back. We're going to talk about death and what does it really mean to die. And we're going to talk about the quote, gone too soon. And we're going to talk about the quote, it just was too early. A lot of people say that when people die. Now, obviously, what brought this, or if it's not obvious yet, what brought this up was the passing or the transitioning of Kobe Bryant and his daughter, and those other beings, those other souls that was in that helicopter with him. That's what inspired me to make this video. Now, first off, let's talk on death. Dying isn't real. There is no such thing as like the usual 3D matrix idea of death is like you no longer exist once your physical body dies. Once your physical body drops, you no longer exist. That's the usual 3D outlook, but that's just not beneficial to your consciousness to continue to believe that. So when we speak on death, we first have to look at death from the correct picture. We are simply the energy in the battery, meaning our body is the battery shell, and our soul, our spirit is the energy, the charge. You know what I mean? So and just like a battery, when it's dead, it's just an empty shell. And the only difference is the energy went from the shell of the battery to somewhere else. It's the same thing. Our energy just simply goes somewhere else. We've done this thousands, hundreds of thousands of times. This is nothing new. Death and rebirth. I will say, sending some great energy out to the family of anybody who's recently experienced a transition person, including myself. My cuzzo just passed. What up, cuzzo? I know you're still around. But yeah, so that's basically a great way to look at death. It's simply like you're transforming, because energy can't be created nor destroyed. Now, we're going to go into it on a higher perspective than that. You see, the new perspective on death was already a higher perspective, but we're going to go on an even higher perspective than that aspect, right? So if you're familiar with your higher self, your spirit guides, your ancestors, basically your guardian angels, they got many names, whatever you call them. If you're familiar with these beings and yourself, your higher self, you know that they're always around you, and your higher self is always guiding you, basically, and giving you hints and giving you pushes and key paths and keys to help you navigate this realm. But also, another role of your higher self was to set up your life and to set up the events of your life before you got incarnated, and including the time you die. So your higher self actually knows when you're going to leave this physical body already, because it set it up. It decided how it was going to do it. Now, like I said, if this doesn't resonate well with you, that's okay. If it does, and continue to listen. But yeah, so your higher self sets up pathways. Let's just say that, pathways. And it knows where you're going. Now, consciously, we can choose where we're going in life, but we usually end up in the same direction. We can choose the route in which we go there, but we usually end up at the same destination. And I'll bring this up to say that there's no such thing as a gone too soon. You know, we may have been caught off guard because we're not expecting that person to transition, but that's literally every time somebody transitions. You know, we're not expecting it. So, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because the higher self already knows you're going to die or transition into another form, transform into another form. This was already pre-planned by you, right? A higher version of yourself. So I personally don't believe there's a such thing as gone too soon, or it was too early, or any of that stuff. You know what I mean? I believe it was all meant. Everything is meant. Everything that happens is meant. And that doesn't mean it's not okay to process emotions. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't have emotions. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't grieve. I'm not trying to say none of that. All I'm saying is, once we start to have a higher perspective on death and a higher understanding on what it is, we'll lose the fear of it. Because it's just simply us freeing ourselves from the shell into our multidimensional form that we always were, and then continuing on our journey on elsewhere. We might come back to Earth. We might go somewhere else. We might go to a different universe. We might not reincarnate at all and just tap back into the complete oneness of all source. But what I'm saying is, we don't lose anybody. We never lose anybody. They are still there. If you can think, if you can visually see somebody, if you can mentally see somebody in your head, if you can remember them, if you can keep them alive in your head, that's the best way of staying in contact with them, because then you're telepathically communicating with their energy, with your energy, your thought form energy. So nobody's gone, nobody dies. We just simply transform. We go to different areas. We travelers. Our spirits are traveling spirits. You know, we come here for a certain experience and then we're done. You know what I mean? So I just want to say this to kind of, if you've lost somebody, the point of this video is to kind of make it a little bit lighter on your shoulders for you. Okay? That's it. And just know that you support it. If you lost somebody, you support it. Reach out to your friends. If you're a fellow light worker like me, and you know all this information, and you have these beliefs about death, that doesn't mean going on telling everybody that they should just switch their mindset. It simply means having that higher understanding, and then being able to switch back to holding space for your fellow loved ones who don't have that higher understanding. You know, it's about holding space for these people, you know? So it's just all expansion and growth. And a lot of the times, sometimes death is the catalyst to the most expansion your soul can experience. Do you get me? Sometimes physical death is the catalyst to a massive soul expansion that your soul needs. So it's deeper than your body. Sometimes your soul got to let this body go to expand into even more greatness. That's it, family. Transition in peace. Kobe and his daughter and them other souls that was in that helicopter. Much love and light to the family. Much love and light to my family, who's still probably healing from my great older cousin Spoon. And much love to you. Peace.